This Go with the Pro segment is brought to you by OnTime Service. Just like a yearly checkup at the doctor, there are systems in your home that need regular checkups by professionals. Kerry Adkins from OnTime Service joins me now with some tips. Kerry, great to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yes. This time of year, we were talking about, it can kind of be a rinse and repeat forecast a little bit, minus the rinse. We have the pollen in the air. We want to make sure that this is a good time maybe to check in on some of those systems of our home, especially before the super, super hot summer months. We have a little bit of a break here. So how important are these checkups to home systems?
So typically in the systems in your home, you don't just have these catastrophic failures out of nowhere. There are these little small things that happen, these little small failures. And so if you don't do anything about those, they kind of compound on each other and lead to these major breakdowns. So if you stay on top of the small things, do the maintenance, you can avoid those catastrophic failures.
It's kind of like your car, right? If you don't keep up with that maintenance, then you might have problems down the road.
If you take care of it, do the maintenance, it lasts longer, it performs more efficiently. Same thing with your home.
Good to know. Now tell me a little bit about some of these maintenance plans. It sounds like it could be something that people worry is expensive.
Yep. So at OnTime, not expensive at all, less than $1 a day. We can cover basically every system in your home. And really the only requirement is that you own a home within the area that we serve. So
good to know. Yeah. Now, what types of services are we talking about? What types of systems are you maintaining?
So your heating and cooling system, and we can take care of that for the same price no matter how many systems you have. So if you have one system or 5, same low price. Also your plumbing system and the electrical system, all the wiring in your home.
Those sound like really important systems.
Yeah, we need all of those things. It's a bad day if any of those don't work.
Exactly. I want all of those in tip-top shape for sure. I think people may not, we think about the HVAC units and those systems all the time, at least I do, when, especially heading towards the summertime. What about something like the plumbing maintenance? Why is that important and how does all that work?
Yeah, one of the big things, like people love water pressure in the shower. Like there are some people that like they want to shower under a fire hose, and that's great, except if your water pressure gets too high, it will cause problems throughout the plumbing system. You're going to be replacing faucets more often. It can damage your ice maker in your refrigerator, your dishwasher, your washing machine. So water pressure is one of those things you need to keep an eye on. Also, just do the cutoffs work. So there's basically a cutoff valve under each faucet and everything. If the faucet fails, you really need that cutoff to work so you don't flood your house out. So small things like that, if we stay on top of it, we avoid the big stuff.
Again, preventing the catastrophe. We don't want that. I didn't know that about water pressure. I think most people I hear complain about low water pressure. Right. We don't think about the high water pressure causing an issue. It's good to keep in mind. Now, what about the electrical system? What kind of maintenance do we need to keep in mind with that?
Yep. So electrical systems, whenever electricity runs through a conductor, a wire or whatever, it heats it up a little bit. And then when it doesn't, it cools down. So heat up, cool down, heat up, cool down. So in that expansion and contraction, every electrical connection in the house over time is going to get loose. And loose connections don't play well with electricity. It causes all kind of problems, heat, arcing, things like that. So you need to stay on top of those connections, make sure that they're not getting loosened up over time. Also, make sure the breakers are performing the way they should. That's a safety feature. The ground fault protection is performing the way it's good. Another safety feature, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, they need to function.
Absolutely. Again, all those major systems in the home, making sure that they're doing what they should, and preventing any kind of disaster that comes from, shorting out systems and electrical fires, things like that. Now, a lot of people around here I know have older homes and may be worried, if I call somebody in for an inspection and for regular maintenance, they're going to find so much and it's going to be overwhelming. What would you say to somebody who's worried about that?
Well, first thing is let's do an inspection and figure out where we are. And then if there is a lot of things, we can help you prioritize, okay, these are the ones that you should be thinking about right now. These are the ones that you can push off till later. But really step one is just kind of, all right, let's figure out where you are right now. Maybe it's not as bad as you think. Maybe you're worried about something that you shouldn't be.
There you go. The unknown is always worse than the known, certainly.
Yes.
Kerry, great to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.